Hello, and you are listening to the Tech and Tonic podcast, a show where we talk and discuss all things tech. Today is our 19th episode, and you're joining me, Darwin, and Jeevan again to discuss all things tech and discuss all things tech lah, basically. Jeevan, say hello lah.
Yo.
So, as usual, we'll start with what happened last week. Again, I don't know why, but not much really significant happened last week, is there?
Not really. I think it's been quite slow for
The past month.
some reason.
Yeah, the past month has been like this. But still, there is still things that happen in tech because tech keeps moving, right? So last week in Malaysia, we have Huawei at least launching like their new product lineup. They call it like their flagship launch or something like that.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of things launching, I think.
Yeah, they launched I think about 6 new products. One of them is the Huawei MatePad Pro 12.6 inch, which we will be reviewing very, very soon. So watch out for that. And the 12.6 inch MatePad Pro is powered by Harmony OS 2.0 this time. It's not EMUI anymore, right? Apparently the older MatePad Pro, the 10.8 inch, will also come with Harmony OS update, but they don't know when yet. But if you buy a new one today, it will come with a Harmony OS. And the MatePad Pro 12.6 inch also has 8 speakers for some reason. Okay, and it starts at 3,999 ringgit, which is not cheap for a tablet. It is a high-end tablet though, so can't say much about it until we review it. They also launched 2 new very high-end displays. One is the Mate View. It's called the Mate View, and the other one's a gaming display, Mate View GT. The gaming display boasts about 2K or Quad HD in resolution and refreshes at 165 Hz, which is kind of in line with the top gaming monitors that you can find in the market today, except that it has a soundbar of its own.
I'm actually interested to see how that soundbar performs. Well, hear how it performs.
Yeah, I'm interested too, but at the same time, because of that soundbar, you cannot do a VESA mounting. Like, you cannot mount it on any third-party, mounting hardware. So, it's got to stand on your table. You can't do anything about it, right? Because of the included speaker. They also launched a 4K display at the Mate View, right? It's not 4K, it's 4K plus. So, the display size factor is 3.3 by 2 ratio, which is
kind of
really
weird for a monitor.
It is, but we are reviewing the Mate View, and we should be coming up with our first look this week, so keep a lookout for that. And the review should come out sometime next week, I think. And so far, I kind of like it lah. But that's also because it's 4K. I don't game on it. That's the thing. I can't seem to understand 4K gaming at this time. But it kind of works.
Yeah.
But they are not cheap, so these are high-end monitors. So guess how much the Mate View starts at?
3K?
Nearly 2,988 or something like that for the Mate View, the 4K display itself. The Mate View GT is slightly cheaper at 2,600, but it's still not very cheap for a gaming monitor. I mean, the gaming monitor that we're using is a Quad HD with 144 Hz, and it's like what? 1.6K less.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very expensive stuff. They also launched the Huawei Watch GT3 and new ANC, active noise cancelling FreeBuds 4. This is the wireless earbuds. And they also launched a mid-range smartphone, the Nova 8i. So these are all the products they launched last week. And you can see our site. Basically, we've actually written about some of these products. Okay, check out our site at www.techandtonic.com. tech ent. No, not that. Not tech ent. That's what everybody calls it. techend.tv. Okay. Google last week was in some hot shoes. They had to pull down some apps from the App Store because of some privacy breach.
Yeah. So apparently about 8 apps had malware in them that stole people's Facebook logins. And these were apps that actually genuinely worked. They actually worked, but when they basically advertised a login to Facebook to get free pro version. And when you did that, it spoofed the Facebook page, took your passwords, and basically the hackers were free to do whatever they wanted with your passwords.
That's not fun. But
yeah,
we've always said that, when you want to update or you want to download your apps, be sure to download it from the Google Play Store or, the App Store, because those are the most secure sites that you can get your apps, right? And while this kind of disproves it, but imagine what a filtered app can do to your phone.
Yeah. But at the same time,
much worse.
I think this one got through simply because the code, it was hard coded into the app for some of them. And some of them are Android native apps, which means the developers developed it on Android.
Yeah. But anyway, Google pulled them down, so they're going to rectify that issue soon, I hope. What are the apps affected?
Rubbish Cleaner, App Lock Keep, Lockit Master, Horoscope Pi, App Lock Manager, InWell Fitness, and Horoscope Daily.
Right. So we've also written about this on our website, so do check it out. They are also involved in some lawsuit. Well, so they are sort of involved in a lawsuit or charge, basically, because they were allegedly involved in some anti-competition practices. Now, they are not the only one who was involved in this lawsuit. I think Apple is also involved in this charge. We don't know too much about it just yet, but we are also looking into it. So look out for that. Then last week, Netflix and CD Projekt Red, I think this is also to draw away attention from Cyberpunk lah, okay? They had WitcherCon. So what's new in WitcherCon? Basically you get the trailer for the next season of Witcher at least, and I think CD Projekt Red is going to introduce some show inspired DLC for the current Witcher 3, right? Am I right?
Yeah, and we're also seeing a new anime being announced that will follow Yennefer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that's WitcherCon. Then WhatsApp was having a few betas, like even in the past few days they have like a few betas, but one of the betas allow you to now send not full res photos, but higher resolution photos from WhatsApp. So you don't have to deal with like stupid image quality anymore when you're sending stuff over from WhatsApp. Like if you're taking a photo of a document, you don't have to ask the person to send it again because you now can read the document, okay, in best resolution, in best quality. But that feature is not coming to us so soon. It's going to take some time because it's still in beta phase and they're probably rolling it out soon on beta. Okay. And then Nintendo launched something last week.
Nintendo
but it's not what we
Switch
expected.
OLED.
Yeah. So it's Nintendo Switch OLED model. It's priced at $349.99 US, which is actually about the same price as the old Switch when it launched. But it comes with a 7-inch display now. It's a 7-inch OLED display, which also means that you get very nice colors and image quality on the current generation Switch, or over the current generation Switch, I have to say. And now it comes with a kickstand that's more sensible. Like, the kickstand actually works now compared to the old flimsy plastic thing that you use as a kickstand last time.
Yeah, it actually spans the whole Switch instead of just having that one leg.
Yeah, and it's multi-angle. Finally, like, makes more sense, right?
Yeah. But also the
And
price
mm,
is just $50 off a PS5, sorry.
yeah, so while you are getting a PS5 for as a new generation console, the Xbox Series X also you're basically getting a new console. This is largely the same hardware from the old Nintendo Switch. So I'm not sure whether you should upgrade to it or not, but if you really want that quality of a display, then yeah, go for it, right? But I'm a bit unsure, especially
It's
if you already have a
slightly
Switch.
larger as well.
Yeah, 7-inch compared to 6.7-inch from the old um thing. And oh yeah, and because it's larger, the new dock, okay, can fit slightly more things, right?
Yeah, and I think they included a LAN cable, a
Mm.
LAN connection. Sorry.
Yeah, so you can connect it to your router straight away, which also means more stable internet connection. I think the first generation Nintendo Switch had a lot of issues with network compatibility, from what I know, from what we've experienced also. Because
Yep.
Jivan has the one of the second generation Switch as well, and I have the Animal Crossing version of the Switch. And for some reason, when we're trying to play online together, it just doesn't work for some reason, and one of us has to switch networks to get it to work,
Yeah.
which is very odd.
Uh, Something about the net compatibility and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's the Nintendo Switch, right? We are expecting Nintendo to probably announce the new generation Switch probably in the next year or something. But for now, citing, stock shortages and stuff like that, they're not going to release a new one, which is kind of sensible. But there's one very big thing that happened last week, which caught us by surprise also, to be really honest. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
expect this to come. Qualcomm
And
announced a smartphone.
the smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders. Could they not have named it any longer?
It's not a name. That's not a name. It's just a description of a product. But yeah, it is basically a smartphone that they are selling to Snapdragon Insiders, right? So Snapdragon Insiders is like an exclusive club for you to join to get the first dibs on new Snapdragon news and stuff like that. That's basically Snapdragon Insider.
Yeah.
But the smartphone is basically what technically the best Qualcomm hardware that you can find in the current market.
Yeah,
If you
it's
want to put it.
designed by ASUS, so you see a lot of design cues from the ROG phone as well.
Even the camera looks like an ROG phone camera.
Yeah, and the thing about the phone is it's meant to showcase the latest and greatest Qualcomm processor, plus
Yeah.
all the features that you can get with it.
Yeah, so the Qualcomm Snapdragon smartphone thingy thing comes powered with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 platform, but
Yep.
the 888 platform is going to soon be replaced by the 895 that's coming next year, right? So why are they doing this again?
Because they announced a lot of features that not a lot of manufacturers are using.
Right. So the whole idea about this, I was just talking to their comms people, and what they say about this phone is that Qualcomm wanted to make this phone, okay, because they felt like their their manufacturing partners are not doing the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 platform justice. Like, they're not taking full advantage of the mobile processor. So they are making this smartphone that's purely based on the power of the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 to, to show people what the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 can do.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if we're looking at what is out there for the Qualcomm 888, we are seeing smartphones which have a lot more to offer based on the software that other people have been developing.
Exactly. Like this comes with, I think, a stock Android, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, stock Android 11.
Stock Android 11, which technically is not the best way to exploit Snapdragon itself, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of their manufacturing partners, Xiaomi, and a lot of the other companies have actually built some features which utilize bits and pieces of the Qualcomm feature set, but not all
Mm.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like things like the LDAC, some of the camera AI technologies, and some of the gaming AI technologies that come with the Qualcomm 888 aren't fully utilized.
Yeah, that is true. But I think also different manufacturers are looking for, or at least targeting different things for different users. And that's why, they don't do everything that the processor can do just because they don't need that function or they don't need that feature in that particular build.
Yeah, but
My whole
the
question about it is, do we really need another reference smartphone?
we've seen what happens with the Nexus,
Yeah,
and now with the even with the Pixels, we're seeing that it's not so much about high end smartphones anymore.
exactly.
Google is
It's
banking on a upper mid range
affordable.
phone. Yep.
Yeah.
But at the
And
same time, I think
mhm.
Qualcomm is shoving so many features into this phone that certain partners may use it as a reference of how far they can push the technology because there hasn't been that benchmark yet.
That is true. But still, I come back to the question of, do we really need it? Because Qualcomm can easily say, okay, this manufacturer does this best, this manufacturer does this best, they do this, they exploit different parts of, the processor very well, right? And even them putting this as a reference smartphone, they're not really using the highest end of the highest end stuff, right? Because their display is not a quad HD display that Samsung can produce. It's actually just a full HD display. While yes, you do get a response time of 1 millisecond and 144 hertz refresh rate. The thing is it that important to get that frequency rather than a higher resolution display on a smartphone,
And we've
right?
seen higher resolution displays on the Qualcomm processor itself.
Exactly, like the Sony Xperia. It's got a 4K display with 120 hertz of refresh rate. That is cutting edge. This is full HD plus.
Yeah, so like as a reference smartphone, I think it's underwhelming.
It is a little bit. I but the package that you get with this smartphone is quite good though. Like when you buy the smartphone, or at least when you put in a request to purchase, what you're getting is not just a smartphone. You're getting a smartphone, you're getting the charger and the cable, obviously, okay, to fully take advantage of Qualcomm's super fast charging technology, and Bluetooth earphones, like Bluetooth earbuds, wireless
Yeah,
earbuds.
from Master and Dynamic.
Yeah, this is supposed to fully take advantage of Snapdragon's LDAC and aptX Plus or aptX Pro. What I forgot what it's called. Uh, it's supposed to sound as well as Snapdragon, or at least Qualcomm means it to sound, kind of thing.
Yep.
Does that
And
make
the
sense?
Master and Dynamic earbuds also come with a Qualcomm chip.
Yeah,
So
obviously, right?
basically, it's a whole showcase of Qualcomm's processor technology.
Yeah, it's basically a showcase of what Qualcomm can do as a smartphone. Well, as a designer of a smartphone. Whether or not you should buy it, I don't know, because let us hit you with the cost, okay? How much it is to buy. okay, in US dollars, is $1,499 US dollars. That's
That's the
more
same price as the Razer.
yeah, and that's more expensive than a Samsung Galaxy S21. Well,
Yeah.
the entry level at least lah, okay? But it is very, very, very expensive, okay? A Xiaomi Mi 10, Mi 11, Mi 11 Pro or something
Mm-hmm.
costs half that. Like, you're still getting the same processor. You're getting most of the same things, but half that. This is encroaching the territory of an iPhone. An
I
Apple
think
iPhone.
at an iPhone level also, the specs would be a lot better.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot better, probably comparable, but at the same time, we've both tested the iPhone 12 in the shop, obviously, because we don't get review units from Apple. Hello, Apple, if you're hearing this. But we've both tested the Apple iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Mac Pro Max or something like that, right? And the camera on that is just amazing. We don't know whether this would come close. Because the closest thing we've gotten to an iPhone camera is, I think, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra,
Yep.
right? And that's also because it's got a 108 megapixel sensor, which kind of nonsense sometimes, but it works.
Yeah, but at the
yeah.
same time, I'm still wondering how far can you go with these specs? To be very honest, it feels like a mid-range phone with an 888.
Yes, it does. But the internals are quite high up there, okay? It's got Bluetooth 5.2, it's got 16 gigs of RAM, it's got 512 gigs of, storage on board. But do you really need it? That's the thing. That's always the question that I come back to. Like, do you really need a reference smartphone at this current market? Because even the Pixel, Google has let go the project of the Nexus project, right? The flagship reference smartphone for everyone. And they came out with the Pixel, which is, a sort of high-end mid-range smartphone, which they say is enough to run Android. We don't need like super high-end stuff to run Android.
But at the same time, I think this might be a knee-jerk reaction to Google's new Pixel being rumored to actually run the Whitechapel CPU, which isn't
Yeah.
Qualcomm's technology.
Yeah. And here's the thing that if you haven't known yet, Google has been, developing on Qualcomm for the longest time. Like since the beginning of Android, I think they've developed on two chips, basically the Exynos chip and Qualcomm. And Qualcomm has been their exclusive partner for the longest time. Now that, Exynos is not really part of that program anymore.
Yeah,
So
and with the new processor, like Whitechapel actually threatens Qualcomm's dominance of the Android space.
yeah. And even then, there are also some rumors that the Whitechapel is more powerful than the upcoming Qualcomm Snapdragon 895. Okay? And there another rumor that says Samsung's Exynos, the new Exynos with 5 nanometer process chip, okay, is going to be even more powerful than both of them.
And
So,
AMD RDNA. Two.
yeah, RDNA 2 on a smartphone. That will be Samsung's next big thing, right?
Yep.
So, obviously, everyone wants a Samsung after that, so that you can play games or whatever not. But, yeah, I don't really think we need a reference smartphone, especially at that kind of price. I mean, the package is great. If you're spending the same money on an iPhone, you're not getting anything else other than the phone and a cable. For
Yeah.
this one, you're getting like a whole bunch of stuff and a very nice box, or at least what seems to be a very nice box. We haven't seen it yet. Okay. The device is not available, to unbox or to touch yet. Nobody has actually seen the device except in renders. We
Yeah.
are requesting for a unit to basically unbox and review. We're hoping to get one. We don't know, right? But do we really
But
need it?
but at the same time, like for a reference smartphone, especially priced at 1499 USD, it's the same price as the Galaxy Flip and the Razer.
Yeah.
So for a bar smartphone, a candy bar smartphone, you're kind of encroaching on Y territory at this point, because it seems a little bit underwhelming, and features that, yes, you're taking advantage of the whole Qualcomm mobile processor, but I can get a foldable smartphone, although with slightly dated specs, it will still have that wow factor more than having another regular smartphone in my hand.
Yeah. Scratch that. You can get a Sony Xperia 1 Mark III for that money.
Yeah, and camera technology on a Sony.
It's amazing now.
Exactly.
You're getting an alpha camera.
And you don't even need to basically worry about photo or video quality. I mean, when we tested it, both of us loved the Sony Xperia X1, I think.
Xperia 1 Mark
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Was it Mark 2 or Mark 1? Or something like that.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them. And it comes with a 4K display, right? This comes with a Full HD Plus display. The new Xperia Mark III comes with a 4K 120 Hz display. And you technically, if you have a Sony camera, you can technically use that as a monitor, sort of, right? But
Yeah.
4K displays are amazing for a smartphone. Even Samsung's Galaxy S21 is, the Ultra at least, is on a Quad HD display. So what's the excuse? Like 144 Hz on a small display is not that actually impressive to me.
Yeah.
For Full HD Plus display especially. Like if they come up and say, oh, we have a Quad HD display that refreshes at 144 Hz, I would be impressed. I would be like, yeah, that's great. But this one's Full HD Plus. While it is still very high resolution. Just don't think we need one right now.
I don't think we need it at all, actually, considering what the other manufacturers are doing with the same technology.
Yeah. And we are getting the 895 soon anyway. Okay, probably towards the end of the year or next year, right? So I don't know how relevant this would be when it reaches our hands, or how long it will be relevant, because they are going to announce the 895. If you are thinking of getting this, I would suggest you to wait for probably the next generation of smartphones to come up, and you have a direct comparison between both of them, right? Whether or not it's worth upgrading to that or get this instead, because probably at a time a lot of people will be selling this for secondhand.
I think the only way this phone is relevant is when we want to benchmark processors, because it's technically pure Snapdragon, and we get to see the 100% of what Qualcomm wants to put out there. But at the same time, I'm like, still, people don't buy phones to benchmark.
Yeah. That's why both of us have been like, do we really need this? Like, I don't think we do. But anyway, that is all the time we have for today, for today's Tech and Tonic podcast. And that is the Qualcomm, what was it called again? Smartphone for
Snapdragon
Insiders. That's not a name. I really don't think that's a name. It's very confusing. Just because this morning I actually read through and I saw some people writing it as Snapdragon Insider phone or something like that, or Snapdragon Insider smartphone. It's very confusing. It's not a name, okay? And how cool is it, like, when you go to a bar and people are like, "Hey, what are you sporting, man? What are you using? That looks like a cool smartphone." It doesn't. But oh, that looks like a unique smartphone. What are you using? Imagine how cool it would be to say, "This is a smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders." But anyway, that is actually all we have on the Qualcomm Snapdragon phone. If, we get a review unit, we will definitely inform you and we'll definitely do a review on it. But for now, that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening in to our Tech and Tonic podcast and our stupid rant about this weird, unneeded reference smartphone.
Piece of tech.
Unnecessary. Yeah, just unnecessary. Kind of glorified paperweight. Not really lah. Okay, I don't want to say. It's a great smartphone, but I don't think we need it. Okay, if you have any feedback on the show, or if there's anything that you want to see, please do give us feedback on our website. You can send us an email. You can find it on www.techend.tv. That is www.techent.tv. Or you can reach out to us on our social media. We are TechEnd TV across Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. That is TECHENT TV across all these social media platforms. We are available on Spotify. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, and we are also available on YouTube. Right? So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just comment down below at the the comment box. If you're on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, give a shout out. Let us know that you're listening from there. Right? And whatever feedback also, we will be able to see it, and we will be able to take into account ways to make the show better for you. But for now, this is me, Darwin, and Jeevan signing out. Bye bye.